Hello, hello, and hello. This is your girl, Latanya Lease, author and hope enthusiast. I wanted to come on to share some insight on what I had discovered in terms of the entertainment at the Oscars that had taken place on yesterday. And there are a lot of opinions out there and far-reach assumptions on what is taking place, what happened, and even what's taking place between Jada and Will's relationship. And I began to do a little bit digging and research on finding clarity on understanding this because I am a teacher by nature and I have a voice. It's important for me to understand circumstances because I look at them as teaching moments. But what I discovered about acting is that as an actor, when you embody a character, you have to sometimes go into a different headspace. And sometimes those spaces are dark. They can be very tumultuous, disturbing, and intense. And some actors eventually come out of it and others get stuck there for even months, even years. And it can cause physical and emotional deprivation with disturbed tendencies, causing long suffering. A lot of these experiences have a lasting effect on the mental health and these actors' career trajectory. When an individual reaches the peak of their career, they don't always understand that these roles take on a whole other dimension. That's why some actors and actresses have to go through therapy because they start to feel tortured and insane. The experience in these treatments can be very traumatic and abusive even, and it becomes emotionally scarring. Now, could it be possible that Will Smith had lasting effects from embodying the character of Richard Williams? A lot of times, these actors have to go through these insane treatments just to master these character traits. And in a lot of these cases, when they don't have God, they begin to seek a spiritualist, or they turn to their own rituals, and who knows what type of doors open through those experiences. Thank God this wasn't as worse as it could have been, even though it was all bad. But this could be the start and the beginning of something much worse if not dealt with properly. Because today what we're dealing with is spiritual warfare on the mind. The attack is on the mind. That is where the real war is at. It is the mind because we are in a mental health crisis. When mastering character traits, I'll give you some examples. Shelley Duvall, she's the actress that played on The Shining. During that time, she was put through therapy because she felt insane and she felt tortured just to film her scenes. Her treatment was traumatic and abusive. And here we are years later. You can see how far she's fallen since playing that emotionally draining, iconic role. Then we have Bill Skarsgård from It. We all remember It, with the clown face, and it was pretty intense and scary. But he was emotionally scarred, and he suffered nightmares. Bob Hoskins, who framed Roger Rabbit. His whole role was unprecedented. He had to act against nothing and only voices because, in that particular film, it was just cartoons that was added to the film. But during the time he was filming, he had to act against nothing. And he later talked to himself and he heard cartoon voices in his head. He was forced to take a break for a few years because of that. And then we have Colin Firth, the King's Speech. He had to learn to stutter to embody this role because the king he portrayed in this film really stuttered. And even months after production, Colin Firth picked up the habit of stuttering. And even from time to time, it would come back. He had to get through everyday conversation from the struggle of stuttering. And then we have Jamie Foxx from Ray. In this film, Jamie Foxx had to wear prosthetic eyelids, and he had to have his eyes glued shut for 14 hours a day. This led to fragile nerves, which led to panic attacks from claustrophobic symptoms. And then we have Adrian Brody, the pianist. In this film, Adrian portrayed a Jewish pianist who lost everything during the Holocaust. So what Adrian did to embody this character and to master it, he trashed everything he owned and he left everyone he knew. He later suffered from depression because of the effects from portraying this character in this film. You see, some of these roles have a lasting effect on their mental health and the career trajectory. So my reservations and my questions about Last Night with Will Smith is, could he have possibly still been in the lasting effect or have a lasting effect on the role from King Richard? It's possible, because embodying that character also says that as a male, I'm going to protect the woman or the women in my life. Because you have to admit, this was out of character for Will. This is not normal behavior. So you have to say that this is something that's taking place and it's far more sinister that meets the eye than in the moment. So to see all the opinions, all the words spoken over this man's life, over the whole experience, I get it was done publicly, which gives people the pass to feel like they can comment and say anything that they feel is necessary to get their point across. But I have to go back to the scripture in Galatians 6:1 where it says, "Brethren, if any person is overtaken in misconduct or in sin of any sort, you who are spiritual, who are responsive to and controlled by the Spirit, should set him right and restore and reinstate him without any sense of superiority and with all gentleness, keeping an attentive eye on yourself, lest you should be tempted also." So I do love the fact that Denzel and Tyler Perry spoke with Will Smith to make sure that if he was hurting, and apparently there was some hurt, that they were there to help cover him and to bring him back. Because those that knew him and of him know that this was not Will. It was something that was definitely out of his character. It's beautiful to be in the company or surrounded by people who would tell you when you're right and also tell you when you're wrong. So I'm going to leave you with this. Proverbs 11:14 says, "Where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors, there's safety." People, make sure that you're surrounded by people that will tell you when you're right and that will tell you when you're wrong, and they will cover you. Because we're all susceptible to moments like this. I see it all the time, every day, even online. And then you see people come back and apologize for getting out of character. It's a human error. Nevertheless, it's not anything that should be practiced. We should get control. Take control of our thoughts and our emotions. But we do fall short. And when we fall short, we shouldn't be scrutinized. We should be picked up, counseled, embraced, and chastised with love. That's it. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for listening. Until next time, take care of yourselves and take care of others.